The tough guy wakes up in bed, and with that black leather outfit lying beside him, it's clear the first target has already fallen. He stirs in confusion. Wait, why am I inside a hotel room instead of my own bed? Glancing over, he spots a striking girl and thinks, whoa, what's this dazzling stranger doing here? Did my night get that wild? Suddenly, Xiaojia rings his phone, and it hits him. This is the same girl who turned him down back when he was a freshman. And now she's right here. Why stay silent? Think you're untouchable. Aren't you furious? I'll finish you off. The hero is utterly baffled. What's wrong with this unpredictable girl? She had blocked him on WhatsApp, yet now she talks like they're still together. Checking his phone, he realizes the date belongs to the past. Yes, the classic reincarnation twist. Zhao Zhao mentions Zhang Chong. You're too slow with presents, so you don't deserve the affection I'd give. Just vanish, you're making this awkward. The protagonist nearly tears his hair out in frustration, almost joining the bald club. He believed she truly loved him and that they'd last forever. Yet here he is, back in the moment, receiving the same old messages he already anticipated. As always, she demanded gifts with her usual theatrics. Back then, blinded by feelings, he ignored his own dignity. But in this lifetime, he vows to honor himself. So he firmly says, Jiaojia, we're done. She, bewildered, asks, Chung, what nonsense is this? You think you can dump me? He answers, are you losing it? I can end things whenever I choose. Goodbye. She insists on knowing why, warning she'll get angry without a reason. The protagonist simply replies, they're not a match. That's all. Goodbye. Still, she's convinced he'll crawl back later asking for forgiveness, so she'd better not shed tears at her feet. Incredible. The protagonist admits that in his former life she betrayed him twice. Poor soul, truly made a fool. Then enters the real star of the tale, the legendary system. The protagonist gazes upward, wearing the look of a kid left behind in a supermarket, desperate to know what's happening. Rising to check, we discover the tough guy is only 18 yet appears 85. Amazing, life has already restarted. What else could he want? But now he's set to earn 0.10 cents each second, or $8,000 daily. The tough guy lights up, realizing this system clearly pays by the second. He won't need to lift a finger. On top of that, he's handed a starter kit, and when he opens it, a yellow brick drops onto the table. Inside are 10 million to begin with, a car, and a strange ability to scan people's friendships. The cash is straightforward, but this analysis feature puzzles him. Hey artist, did you burn all your strength hitting me with that white glow? Get lost, old man. Right away, the protagonist tries out the friendship scan. The tough girl's name is Yu Kong. What an unfortunate name. She's 25, stands 1.5 meters, yet looks 93. Man, we're starting off with something unusual. Her friendship score sits at 60, fairly average. Still, the protagonist can't figure out what the privacy value means. Clicking to check, he learns it's the count of people that person has interacted with in their life. Whoa, this feels like the red pill dream, right? The protagonist stands there puzzled. If that number shows how many people she's been with, and it says 1, then he must have been the first. Later, he tries calling Jiao Jia at the bar, but of course she ignores the fool. Nothing remains for the beta, yet he stumbles upon the tough girl crying as well. Both had drunk heavily, and maybe that's why, despite the low friendship score, they still crossed that line. The girl wakes up startled and uneasy, naturally. A man is staring at her, like a dog eyeing meat in the market, and she demands to know why he's just standing there like a creep. Was he regretting or grinning? He answers that he was simply recalling what happened. She presses further, asking why he's sighing in the middle of the night. Boldly, he admits he regrets not meeting her sooner. Strangely enough, the system grants him the skill Quick Tongue at its highest level. It boosts the strength of every muscle cell in his tongue, giving it unmatched flexibility and force. Looks like we've uncovered the mini system P. Diddy once had, and the boy instantly puts this gift to the test. He already used the body's strongest muscle. Apparently, it's a secret, since the girl remarks he's incredible at kissing. Totally different. You all start practicing with your tongues. How will you train that? Best of luck. At least the protagonist has had his breakfast. Later, he wakes up in bed with Cash beside him. What's happening? He's just as puzzled as I am, wondering if he was treated like an escort. The girl even left 10,000 yuan, saying the night was worth every cent. The protagonist reflects that this wild girl gave him her first time and even paid for it. She truly wasn't in her right mind. Too bad he never got her number. Then he notices the critical card he earned earlier, which can multiply any expense between 1 and 50 times, provided it's under 100,000 Chinese coins, a small limit. Still, the protagonist is thrilled since he's been sent back with this system. His goal is to rise as a magnate in this world. The advantage is clear. Being in the past, he already knows which companies will grow huge. Step 1 is to gather enough funds to buy shares in those startups. Picture that bear waiting motionless by the river for fish to swim by. That's the human version. It's the glamorous girl beside the luxury car, waiting for her owner to show up. The protagonist is lost in thoughts of real estate, profits, and future plans when suddenly the huntress blows a kiss, asking if this sleek car belongs to the handsome guy. He glances over and mutters, "Man, the crazy one showed up." He replies, "Yeah, it's mine. What's going on?" The girl wastes no time and requests a ride to a certain place, saying she urgently needs to get home because her app shows the kitchen pipes are clogged. Direct as ever. The protagonist activates the friendship scanner and sees her name is Chen Liki with a privacy score of 28. Wow. Even though her friendship level is 90, this girl seems quite approachable. The protagonist himself is stunned and puzzled by such a high 90% friendship rating, especially since they had just met. He brushes it off and gets into the car, still a bit dazed. Then he really fires back, saying that 28 guys have already unclogged her kitchen pipes, so she can call the next one next time. What on earth? He speeds off, leaving her in a cloud of smoke. The fool is desperate to know how he figured out she had 28 exes. She looks downcast, admitting it's rare to meet someone handsome and wealthy. Nearby, an old man overhears and approaches. "Young lady, I heard you mention pipe troubles. Allow me to introduce myself. I've got 30 years of expertise." But she instantly tells the creep to back off. The old man, baffled, insists, "Young lady, that pretty boy couldn't fix your pipes. I can take care of that." Cheeky tells the creep to back off, saying he's bothering her. The guys nearby burst out laughing, while the old man can't figure out why. One of them explains, "Hey, old man, you're missing the point. It's not the pipes she's talking about. She wants other things unclogged." He pauses, thinking, wow, young people these days move fast. Meanwhile, she kicks clumsily and ends up breaking her shoe. At the same time, our protagonist has already arrived at the real estate office. He parks his flashy car, but the clerk assumes, here comes another kid borrowing his dad's car just to cause trouble. The protagonist steps out, striking a Max Steel-like pose. The receptionist notices the clerk staring, realizing she'll have to handle this situation herself. A bit nervous, she introduces herself as Miss Zia and politely asks how she can assist. The protagonist jokingly requests a bucket of fries. Obviously, he's here to check out houses. What else would someone do at a real estate agency? She stays cheerful, guiding him through options, while the clerk who dismissed her earlier now apologizes to the poor girl. The business world was harsh, and she had to learn to filter clients carefully. She presents one of the best compact houses, reasonably priced and among the popular models. "What do you think, sir?" But Jung waves it off, saying he's only interested in properties near $1 million. She nods, searching further, and asks if he has any specific preferences. He explains that he wants properties that are easy to rent. Nothing unfinished, though a well-renovated house would also do. The protagonist quickly notices from her hesitation that she seems fairly new to the job. Even if the communication is simple, the good part is that she hasn't learned any sales tricks yet, so everything feels genuine. Shaya is 19 years old, 1.73 meter tall, and looks 90. Wow, everyone's body rating is around 90 or 92, right? This one is slightly higher. Plus, her privacy score, now marked as a past partner, is 0. She proceeds to show the boys several small houses priced between 800,000 and $1 million. The issue for Zhang is that he knows the critical hit system won't trigger above $1 million, so it has to stay just under that. He explains that he wants properties that are easy to rent. Nothing unfinished, though a well-renovated house would also do. The protagonist quickly notices from her hesitation that she seems fairly new to the job. Even if the communication is simple, the good part is that she hasn't learned any sales tricks yet, so everything feels genuine. Shaya is 19 years old, 1.73 meter tall, and looks 90. Wow, everyone's body rating is around 90 or 92, right? This one is slightly higher. Plus, her privacy score, now marked as a past partner, is 0. She proceeds to show the boys several small houses priced between 800,000 and a million. The issue for Zhang is that he knows the critical hit system won't trigger above a million, so it has to stay just under that. She asks if he'd like more options while he's calculating how to secure several properties priced as close to a million as possible to trigger the critical hit. He proposes negotiating those near a million. If she adjusts each to exactly a million, he'll purchase all 5 immediately, live and direct. She's stunned that he intends to pay everything up front. He confirms, saying he'll settle now and have her manage the rentals for all 5. The clever girl realizes the commission plus monthly earnings from overseeing 5 houses would be substantial, so she agrees right away. Meanwhile, the clerk who dismissed him earlier lurks at the door, curious why this odd kid has so much money. An hour later, the manager arrives announcing the contracts for all 5 are finalized, and the girl will receive 2% commission. The protagonist says, "Perfect." He trusts Sia to handle everything and promises to reach out for future purchases. The clever girl is thrilled, knowing that even with just 2% commission, she'll earn a fortune. At that moment, the critical hit triggers, granting him multiple 50x and 40x multipliers. Had he chosen the 800,000 properties, the difference in returns would have been massive. On top of that, he levels up from spending money and now gains 0.8 yen per second. Realizing the system rewards him for investing, he decides to spend even more. Immediately, he calls Zia, saying he wants to talk, while she imagines him and thinks this won't be the last time. The girl nervously bites her fingers. What capitalism does to a hardworking soul, right? Poor thing. She's caught in illusions just for a bit of money. Still, she hesitates. Stoic as ever, she tells the protagonist that maybe tonight they should get to know each other better. He, confused, asks what she means. He's only requesting her bank account. She questions why, and he replies that she's his lucky star, and he wants the chance to meet her again. All this because he triggered that 50x bonus. But of course, she interprets everything differently. Minutes later, he transfers another 35,000 Chinese coins and even sends a K-pop dance move with his hand on his head. What kind of chaos is this? The wretched girl handed him over 200 million, so that seems fair enough. Her friendship score climbs to 85, and the fierce one flashes a QR code. Her attitude shifts instantly. She's ready for a dinner tonight. The protagonist notices a picture jumping from 50 to 80. Clearly, wealth rules the world. They exchange WhatsApp, and the sly girl is already in a frenzy, imagining herself in the slaughterhouse and hoping that if it happens today, it won't be too fast. Meanwhile, the protagonist simply says goodbye, promising they'll meet again. She looks puzzled, expecting an invitation, but he's already in the car, saying, "Who's to go?" Wow. The protagonist is back home with both father and mother. What a rarity in these tales, since usually they've been gone for 15 years. His mother slices watermelon for the fool, while his father asks why he skipped the graduation trip. He explains that he wants to visit Shanghai since he's considering university there. Wow, the father is generous. He simply agrees and says he'll transfer money for the journey. The mother warns him not to spoil the boy or he'll become a mama's boy that no girl would want. The protagonist reflects that maybe this overprotection shaped him in his past life, making him a fool, the beta. But this time, he vows to secure a worthy daughter-in-law. The next day, he boards a plane, disappointed that he had to buy economy class because all other seats were already taken. He's about to sit down when he accidentally bumps into someone. And of course, just like in these tales, there's a beautiful girl right there. Clearly, she's another key encounter. Her name is Jo Ying, and the protagonist explains that this is his seat. She replies it's a coincidence she's nearby. Then suddenly, wow, my daughter's in a diaper. What's going on? As they chat, the well-known beta shows up, calling out to the lovely maiden and declaring, "It's an honor to travel with you. This trip will be wonderful." The protagonist had taken the window seat but tells Joy to stay put. Yet the beta refuses to let it slide, insisting, "Little brother, that seat belongs to the lady. You can't just swap seats like that on a plane." The protagonist, however, insists they're together and owes no explanation. He sits down, but the VTuber fan keeps pestering. "Hey miss, are you headed to Shanghai?" "No, of course not. Mid-air she'll jump out, open a parachute, and land elsewhere. Obviously she's going to Shanghai, you fool." She completely ignores the poor beta and instead asks Zhang Cheng what brings him there. "She's traveling for work." He replies, "It's nothing major. Just a simple trip." She comments that vacations are great. The beta sulks in the corner, saying he also spent a year in Shanghai and warns there are plenty of scammers, advising him to avoid hotel traps. He adds that he's booked a very nice hotel with everything prepared, and if she wants, he can take her there. Zhou Ying keeps her gaze fixed on the window, completely ignoring him. Jung Chong calmly says, "Relax, friend. I already booked a taxi there. She's with me, so no need to worry." But Jung Chun won't stop. He seizes the chance to humiliate our boy and asks which hotel he's staying at. The protagonist replies it's a place called Aman Yong Yun. Instantly, the kid freezes. That resort is notoriously expensive. He blurts out that it's strange. If the protagonist is staying somewhere so luxurious, why did he fly economy? He claims he stayed there too, and usually they don't even pick guests up at the airport. The protagonist explains he reserved a villa, leaving the guy stunned. Zhou Ying realizes that costs nearly 80,000 a night. She never imagined he was that wealthy. He replies that he knows she was once far wealthier. Back in school, she wasn't just popular but also one of the prettiest. Everyone remembered how she was always picked up in luxury cars, and most guys didn't even dare meet her gaze, yet she stayed quiet, focused on her studies. At that time, though, the protagonist only cared about Xiaojia and ended up betrayed. Truly a fool. Now she admits her family is facing difficulties, saying she's no longer that second-generation rich girl. The mood shifts, turning heavy, so the protagonist quickly changes the subject, and they begin reminiscing about their school days. As she gets distracted, the atmosphere lightens, and the protagonist decides to check her stats. 18 years old, 172 centimeters tall, 96 in appearance, 96 in body. Wow, these girls are already maxing out the scale. Makes you wonder what a perfect 100 would even mean to the artist. What surprises him most is her friendship score, already 75. Maybe she had been watching him back in school without his knowledge. Strange. The boys arrive at the airport when suddenly someone remarks, "Wow, girl, you came to pick him up in that outfit. Looks like you chose the wrong profession's uniform." Still, she's here to receive him today, and apparently, she'll be his private driver. Huh. The protagonist remarks that the Aman Yongyun Hotel shows true professionalism. Curious, he asks where Joy Ying will be staying. She explains she's at a friend's house in the opposite direction, so she'll just take a taxi. He refuses, insisting she ride with him and they'll drop her off. Meanwhile, Jung Chong lurks nearby, fuming that such a beauty shouldn't fall into the hands of a scoundrel. Later, they arrive at Zhou Ying's destination, and she asks for his contact. He reminds her not to forget the promise and scans her code. Jung Chong had been waiting for a chance to humiliate him, but now that she's safely dropped off, there's little he can do. Half an hour later, the protagonist is back home, convinced he made the perfect choice. He heads to take a shower when suddenly the fierce one shows up to assist. Confused, he asks if the service is finished. She turns back, telling him to wake up. She's only there to wash his back. He still finds it odd, ready to say it wasn't necessary, but with her little glove, she insists he come closer, claiming it's part of the treatment. The rascal sits down, realizing it's surprisingly comfortable. And with her striking appearance, if there were extra services, he wouldn't complain. His imagination runs wild, picturing those so-called additions. She asks why he looks overheated. Was the water too hot? Meanwhile, he's just trying to stay calm. He asks her to share a bit about her routine to help him relax, and she explains that tonight there will be a VIP reception, wondering if he'd like to attend. He asks the reason, and she explains that some platinum members are auctioning jewelry. Curious, he wonders if there's a dress code, but she assures him it's casual, nothing fancy. Soon after, she arrives with our boy, announcing he's in Titanium Village and deserves respect. She bids him farewell, telling him to enjoy himself, then leaves. Strange, no victim revealed, no friendship gained. What's going on? Walking through the NPC corridor, he hears people discussing bids of 5 million, 4 million. The auction is for a gold Rolex. The crowd is buzzing, shouting, raising offers. The protagonist, knowing from the future that the price will soar, boldly places a bid of 15.5 million. The crowd refuses to back down. Offers climb to 16, 17, 18. Everyone is stunned that the 35-level kid is bidding so aggressively. The old man strikes the gavel 3 times at 18 million, sealing the deal. Just then, 2 peculiar figures appear, introducing themselves as Wang Jiang and Qinfen. The protagonist grows suspicious. What do these wealthy Shanghai kids want with him? The blonde one, Qinfen, complains that he was bidder number 8 and wanted the watch, but apparently the kid liked it more. He asks if our boy is some kind of luxury watch expert. Xiang replies he's no expert and doesn't even study the field. This is his first purchase, just to try something new. Shocked, the guy says it's insane. Who spends 18 million on a watch for their first time? Surely someone like that should be known already. Our boy calmly explains it's because he just arrived in Shanghai to attend university. The guy keeps praising him, saying that at 18 he never had such boldness. He suggests they hang out sometime in the future. Peculiar fellow, huh? Still, he's being genuinely friendly. The truth is, the world belongs to the clever. If you're not sharp, you're the fool. During this little chat about the watch, the system levels up again, and now he earns 1 yuan per second. For many, that would be life-changing, but for someone aiming to be a magnate, it's not much. As he climbs the stairs, he spots her, Kang, whom he calls Xia Sha. Yes, let's stick with Xia Sha. The fierce one is elegantly dressed and recognizes him, saying he's the boy from that night. He admits she was one of the best companions he ever had. The night was wonderful, and he even got paid. She, however, grabs him angrily, saying she thought she was helping a poor 18-year-old student, but it turns out he has money. The fierce one presses closer, wrapping her arm around his back, insisting he really is a student, that he needs new lessons, and even rented a villa nearby. Why not go there later? Her tongue slips a bit, she's clearly drunk, and she warns he'll have to work hard. Suddenly, someone interrupts, telling Xia Sha to stay still. It's Zhang Yu, her ex-fiancé. He declares she won't be doing anything, but she snaps back that her choices are none of his business. He seizes her arm, the beta insisting that no matter what, they are destined to marry. But he's not that beta, because she declares there's no way she'll marry someone who fooled around with her friend. He points at her face, warning that the engagement party already happened and the families agreed, no matter what, she'll be forced to the altar. She snaps back that he's disgusting, only using her as a cover while he enjoys himself with men and women, trying to exploit the entire population. At that moment, the system presents 2 options to our boy: leave and receive a Ninja Turtle costume, or slap the guy twice to gain triple physical enhancement plus a bad luck card. Zheng Chen decides he won't be a coward in this life. When the system explains the enhancement boosts speed, strength, and recovery, he instantly delivers the first slap. He channels some aura, declaring the guy lost all rights after betraying her, so it's best he leave, and then delivers another slap. Whoa, protagonist, don't go crushing skulls. You'll end up arrested. With that, he gains 10% more friendship with the fierce girl. Meanwhile, hotel staff rush in to handle the beaten boy. He threatens to call the police, but the hotel refuses. Too many wealthy guests here, and involving authorities would only cause trouble. Better for this kid to stay quiet. Xiao Xiao reassures our boy not to worry, promising that if police are called, she'll testify the bastard was harassing her and provoked the fight, making his actions justified. The fool stands in the middle, shouting he'll call the police, that cameras will expose everyone. But suddenly, in the background, a man appears wielding a machete, furious that his wife is involved with someone. Oh man, better let him through. He looks ready to cut down everyone. Zhang Yu collapses to the ground, begging for mercy, and someone already takes the first slash to the neck. At this moment, the system presents 2 choices to the protagonist. Option 1, escape with Xia Xiao and gain 300 cash, nothing special. Option 2, Confront the criminal, earn +5 in appearance, and unlock a peculiar skill. Apparently, it's the Gigolo system, granting abilities only meant to make girls happier. The only reason the protagonist hesitates to stop the crime is that it would mean saving Jong-yu. But more importantly, he needs the skill reward. Without delay, he activates the enhancement card earned from slapping the kid. Since he must stop a thief, he channels everything into strength and instantly feels his muscles surge with power. As the attacker charges, he anticipates and lands a punch straight to the mouth, sending the man crashing into the wall. Both Xia Sha and the poor Beta stare in awe, wondering how he managed it. Everyone at the party is stunned. Who is this badass who took down the criminal in a single blow? Even the police officer thanks him, calling him a true hero, saying the situation could have been far worse without his intervention. Yet Jong-yu, determined to suffer more in this life, steps forward to report to the police that our boy assaulted him. They accuse him of violent tendencies, but the officer turns to the crowd to confirm. At that moment, the fierce girl steps in to destroy the cuckold's claims once and for all. She explains it's false, that he tried to deceive her, force a marriage, and drag family issues into it. The officer nods, saying, "All right, I understand." The protagonist realizes she laid out the whole truth and thanks her, promising he'll never let Jong-yu harm her again. The officer reminds them this isn't the place for emotional disputes. The crisis is resolved and they're leaving. Yet Jong-yu refuses to give up, showing no remorse, demanding the cameras be checked. He notices the effect of the bad luck card. Oh man, it's really striking people hard. Suddenly his phone rings with news that 200,000 was withdrawn from his bank account. Shocked, he insists it wasn't him and demands the money be recovered. Just then, a woman rushes in, screaming that someone tried to move his car and crashed it into a tree. What's going on? This unlucky card is brutal. The boy runs out in panic to see the damage. Xiao Xiao remarks it's an incredible coincidence, while the protagonist mutters that cruel people always suffer in this life. Yet he adds that even honest ones suffer too. The world is unfair, my friend. Unfortunately, just because you walk into that room with a moon-shaped figure, you think everyone lives well. Damn it. And here she comes, saying her older sister wants to check if he was hurt in the fight. Then she asks if he minds that she has a fiancé like that. The protagonist says no, only that he's surprised the guy behaves this way. He explains her grandfather was gravely ill, and to bring peace, she had no choice but to marry into that wealthy family. But later she discovered the man liked men too, and even got involved with her friend. The protagonist reassures her she doesn't need to suffer anymore. She's amazed he truly doesn't care about the engagement. Why doesn't he care? What does he want from her? He pulls her close, resting his chin, promising she has nothing to fear. He will take care of her. The next day, the maids had to clean up the entire room. Soon after, our boy was at the restaurant. One of his classmates posted in the school group that he's celebrating a birthday and received a big watch. Curious, our boy finds this interesting and suddenly asks to borrow Xiao Xiao's legs for his own birthday. She's confused, wondering if it's really a birthday. He replies, "Not exactly, but just lend me those legs, woman." She agrees, then starts posing here, posing there, posing everywhere. My God, why did she step on the toast? Looks like the artist got carried away. Keep those personal preferences out of the story. The protagonist snaps photos of everything, thinking it's fine. At 18, he didn't get a car, but the speed of this machine was unmatched. He shares it in the friends group, leaving everyone shocked. Whoa! Some guys brag about getting a house, another about a car, one even about an RTX 590, yet they all admit they'd prefer a woman. Not for nothing, but a 5090 man is powerful. Shortly after he arrives at the car dealership. Go on, damn it, show everything. She's already there. Look, there's one, and another over there. As usual, a bald, short old man shows up with a glamorous girl at his side, flaunting his wealth. Even the girl hesitates, saying buying a car like this is too serious. But he insists, "Girl, I'll pick you up every day when you start your recordings, and you'll need to be comfortable." The girl in the short dress insists it's unnecessary. She only wants to be the protagonist's lead and promises to work diligently. This whole exchange unfolds as the protagonist arrives, overhearing everything. He recognizes her as Suwan, a fierce one who, in a few years, will rise as one of the goddesses of entertainment. Peculiar fame, though, since she first became known through a set of poolside photos. The little bird's nest insists she can pick any car she wants, and afterward they'll go out for drinks. But the girl tries to slip away, claiming she has a company meeting. The man with the Vegeta-style entrance warns her it's better if she comes with him instead. Otherwise, the investment in her career won't happen, and she's warned that refusing means being crossed off the industry list. Wow. But the girl is tough. She declares that no matter what Mr. Hang says, she won't give in, and he can do whatever he wants. Rare, huh? She stood up to the bald uncle. The protagonist triggers a mission, realizing he must rescue her from this situation and secure a contract. That way, he'll gain special rewards. He knows the simplest way is to show her he's financially capable. So he asks to check the conditions for buying a LaFerrari. It must be that LaFerrari, right? The woman explains it's a limited model. She explains that several tests are required before becoming a VIP eligible to buy. He asks if she isn't qualified. She replies that if he truly wants, it's not impossible. When he asks about the condition, she says the waiting list is long, since most people don't want to leave their money tied up, so occasionally spots open that can be taken. He says that's fine. He's ready to buy outright. The girl's eyes widen, the old man is stunned, and Swan is already intrigued. Even Boss Hang, who loves to flaunt wealth, wouldn't dare such boldness. The woman clarifies, warning he may not understand the price. It's 50 million yuan, about $7 million. Yet he calmly responds that this is an acceptable amount. Suddenly, Chinfin shows up again, saying he heard someone was about to buy a LaFerrari and came to see who it was. He never imagined it would be our boy. The protagonist, the aura maker of the money world, the Sun Jin wound of credit cards, casually replies, "Yeah, I arrived in Shanghai yesterday. I don't have a car, so I came to buy one casually." Chinfin looks puzzled. Casually it's not. Clearly he's showing off. The man in the tie asks Chin if he's his friend, since he met Zhang Cheng yesterday when he bought an 18 million watch. Really? That proves he has money. The old man notices the big watch on his wrist and is convinced, at least he has cash. He thanks the boy for choosing them, saying that with a watch like that, money clearly isn't a problem.